All right, guys, here we are out here on Kentucky Lake, and things are looking up out here on the water. Summertime is officially here. People are out jet skiing, tubing, swimming. Water temperature's finally warmed up, and that's one thing I'll talk about real quick is everything was kind of slow to warm up this year. It seemed like it took a while for the water temperature to hit that 80-degree mark. We're finally seeing a consistent 80, 82 degrees. You know, and every year until that water temperature hits a consistent mid-70s, those fish will hang up and just not move out. But it really takes those warm nights, the warm surface temperature on the water to really drive those fish out there. And there's still a good many fish shallow. I would say you could probably, if you watch the BPT guys last week, there were a few guys. Andy Montgomery, for example, he caught a lot of fish around docks. I'm sure there's a little bit of a shad spawn still going on. If you look up shallow right now, there is a ton of little fry. I assume it's shad fry. Seen a good bit of bass fry up shallow too. So you could, first thing in the morning, you get out here with a topwater bait, take a bait like the 6 Sense catwalk, just keep it simple, something like a little bone color like that right there, and just wind it around, walk it around some of those gravel points. There's a lot of that little fry being chased right now. Some schooling activity. I will tell you, this time of year, I tell clients all the time, this time of year, always have that top water laying on the boat, on the deck of the boat, because a lot of those fish will come up a lot of times chasing bait, and they'll chase those gizzard shad and threadfin out of the water, and you want to be ready for it. A lot of times you can catch a bonus fish if that's the case, one will come up popping around you. But if you got young kids or something, I had a client recently said that he had some of his kids were with him and caught a good bag of smallmouth. Really didn't even know what they were doing, but just took a plopping style bait and a walking style bait out there on the east bank, even the west bank. There's just get up shallow, you can find that fry. And even during the tough years when Kentucky Lake was going through its tough years there, I grinded it out and stayed out here all summer long. And even though the ledge fishing wasn't very good, you could take a 1/4 ounce or a 3/16 ounce, something lightweight, like a 3.2 Divine swim bait or something like that, and just wind it around on the points early in the morning, especially if you get those windy mornings, where there's a little breeze on the water and you can catch fish. And a lot of that's the same right now with that recent shad spawn. So everybody wants to talk ledge fishing. Bass Pro Tour was here last week. Congratulations to Jacob Wheeler. He done a great job. Jake Lawrence, finishing second there. A lot of those guys right there at the top, my buddy Brent Ayler finished third. A lot of those guys that made that the top 10 there, on the final day, talked about how, the fishing got tougher and tougher every day. And one thing that I'll touch on just real quick is, we went for a few years there where Kentucky Lake was really, really tough. There were a few of us that my guy business, I'll be honest, it was pretty much cut in half, but there was a few of us that stuck it out. And there's a lot of guys that I heard a lot of whining and crying, and we were spoiled, no doubt about it. We were spoiled living on Kentucky Lake back in the good old days. And then now that it's kind of easy pickings again, I'm not going to say it's easy pickings, it's a lot easier to catch them again. A lot of those people are starting to come back and start fishing again, which is fine. When you live on a lake like Kentucky Lake, a lot of people are going to start fishing, especially the ledge fishing. Let's face it, it's these stupid little fish are it's like a drug. We love to catch them. And the problem is, Kentucky Lake is in good shape. We've got a lot of fish in the lake, a lot of smallmouth in the lake, bait's finally coming back, but there's still not trying to think how to say this. There's a lot of fish in the lake, but there's not as many fish as there used to be. So you've got to keep in mind, there are more people fishing today in 2025 than there ever has been. And that goes for college fishing, high school fishing, recreational fishing, tournaments, everything. And lakes can only go through so much pressure. And I'm going to tell you right now that I see both sides of it. I see it from the fisherman in me being on the water every day. I see what the pressure does to these fish. I see what the tournaments do. I also see that when we have good results like we did recently, tournaments want to come here. I'm all for it. I'm all for the tourism. I'm all for people wanting to come fishing. But when these fish start getting tougher to catch, I don't want you guys running off and saying, Kentucky Lake sucks, it's terrible, you can't catch them there. You can see them, but they won't bite. Well, guess what? When you put that kind of pressure on a lake that is just getting its head above water, fishing's going to get a little bit tougher. Now, we've had some great days out here. I'll tell you, we've had some really good days this early summer. Afternoon bite seems to be a little bit better. Those fish are kind of wanting to make their way out there. Found more schools every single year for the last 2 or 3 years. It's gotten better and better and better. And right now, up until this point, they've been fairly easy to catch. You could catch them like you could in the old days. Take you a 6 cents Crush 300 or a 500 DD, Chartreuse Blue. It's a staple on the Tennessee River. It's the only color you need right there. Take it out there, wind it around. You hit them right, you time it right, you catch them on it. Right here, 3/4 ounce swim bait, the Ignite 5-inch Frenzy. I mean, that's a bait that we throw a lot out here. It's a fun way to catch them. But it seems like over time, these fish are more educated and they don't bite like they used to. Like I say, don't get me wrong, you can still catch them on those big baits. I've had some good stringers out here this year. You can get those fish fired up, but it just seems like the schools are smaller, they're not as big as they used to be, and they're a little bit harder to catch. And you've got to finesse them more. You know, use the finesse tactics, the finesse presentations, jigs, worms, wacky rigs, you know, Nico rig, things like that, drop shot. And the fish are starting to move out. They're migrating out. They're getting out towards the mouth of the creeks. A lot of people are looking out on that main river. They're not out there yet. I mean, for me, I've got a few places on the main river channel where there's some pretty good schools of fish. Don't go out there and think you're going to find, I mean, I'm not saying they're not out there. Those 50, 75, 100 fish schools, I personally not seen it. I heard a few of the guys in the BPT say they saw that. I've not personally seen it. I'm out here every day. There's a lot better fishermen out here than I am too. So I've not seen those big giant schools. I've seen some good numbers in some schools, but it seems like when you throw a crankbait or a swim bait or something, you'll pull that school out more so than you used to. It's always been known that if you throw out there on a school and you catch a few on a crankbait, you'll pull the school out to you. And it just seems like this year, when you do that, it pulls the school out and they're just floating around and they're moving around a lot and they're harder to catch. And that's when you've got to take something like a Bambusa Nico rig. That's just an O-ring with a 2-aught split shot drop shot hook with a 1/8 ounce in the head of it. Throw that out there. If you like a drop shot, I mean, the drop shot is, I mean, I fish a drop shot a lot. If I just want to get bites, that's what I tie on. 1/4 ounce with a 6 cents Fishing Glitch, Morning Dawn. That's the only color you need right here this time of year. Change it up if you want to. That's the only color you need to get bites out here on Kentucky Lake right now. The minnow bait, when those fish get hard to catch, when you see them out there and they're pulling out there, the minnow bait, you know, this is the Aussie from 6 cents with a jig head on it, 3/16 ounce, you know, and depending on what the wind's doing, you know, let the wind make your decision on, you know, weight size, things like that. But for the most part, the bite has been really, really good. There's been a lot of schools out here on the north end of the lake. Finally starting to find some south of Ken Lake down towards Paris Landing. The guys in the Bass Pro Tour were off limits south of Paris. So I'm able to spread out. I can fish the north end one day, south end one day. So there's a good many schools from one end of the lake to the other right now. It just seems like the last few days they've been a little bit harder and harder to catch. There's a BFL this weekend coming up. So it just seems like if you're a power fisherman like me, you can catch a few of those fish, but for the most part, they've backed off the current. They're not pulling the current that they were, and the fish have been beat up. Let's face it, they've had a lot of pressure. It's like Ring Around the Rosie out here. Guys are just rotating, and I'm guilty of it. I mean, we all are. We love to catch them, but just don't be surprised when you get out there, you're idling over them with your Lowrance, you see them out there on side scan or down scan, and you see them and like, gosh, there's a pile of them down there, and them suckers just don't want to bite. Just be patient with them. Rotate them, run off, go find you some different places, and then just keep rotating them, because eventually you'll hit them just right. I talked a little bit about the topwater, the schooling fish. They will come up. Chasing bait right now. So keep your eyes out. Then white bass will get going here before long, probably. Another bait that I've caught a lot of fish on here recently, Jacob Wheeler One on a jig. This is just a green pumpkin brown. Dirty Jigs tackle, 3/4 ounce. I actually take the weed guard out of it. So what I do, that is the 6 cents trailer. It's the bongo on the back of that. What I do whenever I'm fishing a jig is if I'm throwing around a lot of structure, I'll leave that weed guard. But if I'm snapping it or hopping it, stroking a jig, we call it, then I'll take that weed guard out of it, especially if you're fishing open water and you're not around a lot of cover. Couple more baits just real quick that I'll talk about. The scrounger head, that's a 3/4 ounce, 6-cent fishing flush on the back of it. You know, scrounger head, they bite it out here. There's no doubt about it. And then a hair jig. Hair jig's been a good little bait to throw. This is a 6-cent Divine hair jig. That one right there, I mean, you know, any hair jig, we've thrown hair jigs out here for years, but a lot of times you throw it out there, stop it. Sometimes you can trigger a bite when they won't bite anything else. Last but not least, the big spoon. I mean, this is a big sucker there. That's not the big one. This is the Ben Parker Nichols. This is what we call the mini mag. This is a 6.5 inch spoon, I think. I like that one. It's not as big, but it's not that small one either. But that bait right there, a lot of times you'll see them on that forward facing, and a lot of times you'll know it. They won't bite anything else, and if you get them ganged up, you can see them down there. A lot of times you can get them to react to it, and you'll catch the biggest one out there. So again, water temps 80, 82 degrees. Normal summer pool. Here we are. Summer's here. Memorial Day's come and gone. 4th of July will be here before you know it. So you guys get out there, poke around out here on the lake. Don't forget about the Deep Dive app. You want to get on that app, check it out. I mean, I talk about it in all my reports. You get on that thing and you can type in your conditions, your water conditions, water clarity, depending on where you're at on the Tennessee River or where you're at in the country. And that app will show you exactly what to try. And it's been pretty well dead on. You know, you type in the right conditions depending on where you're at, and it'll tell you throw a swim bait, throw a crankbait, throw a jig. And it's a really cool app. I've been using it a lot out here. Weather, wind, the wind conditions. If you're looking for wind-blown banks, especially like I was talking about, whenever you get out there and you're looking for those windy banks out there to throw a swim bait, the little small swim bait or a topwater for smallmouth early in the mornings, use that. You know, find those windy banks, because that breaks down a whole lot of water for you to where you can go to those high percentage areas instead of those dead areas. But you guys are in the Kentucky Lake area, come by the shop there, Sonar Solutions. We're a full rigging shop. We do Lowrance, Garmin, Humminbird. We do all the rigging right there, trolling motors, you name it, batteries, whatever you're looking for here on Kentucky Lake. We actually started recently carrying Ignite baits, so the hand pour, some of the hand pour tackle that I use out here, we've got those in the shop there. So come by, check us out, see us there. If you're looking for a trip on Kentucky Lake, I'm pretty well wrapped up through the end of June, starting to book through latter July. So summer will be here and gone before you know it. So get on the books. Email me at info@brandonhunterfishing.com, and I will see you guys on the water.